Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Palmisano here. GuitarGate member David Smith and his brother Jason are both members on the website, and they've both been learning guitar together. It's been brought to my attention that Jason is falling on some hard times and is really not feeling that well, and that he loves Colin James' version of Speechless. Now, I've never reviewed Colin James, and so I believe this to be completely and totally ice cold. So this is for you, Jason. I really hope that you feel better soon, and thank you for your brother David for suggesting this to me. David says, this song's an instrumental, hence the song title. This is Colin's Lenny, a nod to SRV. And it literally left me speechless when I saw it live during an encore. His arrangement is crazy. You don't get to hear his great singing voice, but his tone is remarkable. He goes, listen to it ice cold. It won't be disappointed. Here you go. Hit the button. Cheers. Okay, right off the bat, two things. One, super stratty laced pickup sounding. Dig it. Two, we just went through a whole bunch of keys. We were in C, dig it. We were in G, went up to A for a minute, or just teased it, went over to E minor, did your whole little Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. So I don't know what key this is going to settle in, but we're clearly just guitar players being guitar players. Oh, God. One of these days I got to open my Vidal. It's a boxer. So settling in G major, maybe? E minor? Woo! Little F over G action? So yeah, walks up, F sharp, G major. That's killer. Just for anybody wondering out there, how, what this is when you have, so this would be an F major triad. I'm going to review this at its own point in time, if you will. F major triad with an F in the bass. If you put a G in the bass, right, you get F over G, but what is this? Well, if G is 1, this is 1, flat 7, 9, 4, right? So this is a G7 sus, if you will. Remember, a suspension, a sus is when you're suspending the third. So you can either replace the third with the second or ninth, right? That'd be sus 2. Or you can have it go up and replace it with the fourth. This has both. Very SRV thing, right? But the flat 7 is your key here. Let's keep going. Oh my God. So settled firmly in G major. G major, E minor, and you got D, C, G over B, A minor, G. Going to the root of it. of that B7. Now check this out. Here's G. G major and E minor are relative keys, meaning they contain the same notes. So when you shoot for G over G major, that's your tonic, right? That's complete resolution. When you shoot for G over E minor, shoot for G over E major, rather, it's the tonic. Well, either one, but the point is we're in G major. When you shoot for E minor, that G is your minor third, okay? So all the same licks. Simple. 1, 2, 3. Bend. Kind of feel it. So it doesn't matter whether you're over G or E, right? It both works. Simple, repeatable melodies. And then there's that one point in there where it goes to a B7. Dominant. Shoots right for that B, okay? I'm going to lose it with this. What did he get there? So what happens, you're at C major. This is your 4 chord. Right? Now it goes up, your root goes up a half step. And now your higher root goes down a full step. And you get this little diminished thing here, okay? And then, but even though that changes and you see that C sharp, you're like, ooh, maybe we're gonna play a C sharp something. He still stays right in that G major thing. He doesn't change the scale. He stays key-centered like a singer would and should. So what happened there? Just like before, when you had that F over G, F over G sharp, F over A, or maybe he put it in the 5th there. Point is, F major triad, F sharp major triad, G major triad. So what does he do? He does the Hendrix thing, pattern 3, root, root, root. If you're not familiar with the cage system, all my lessons and courses begin with the caged. That's what I learned in GIT. I think it's the best way to learn the neck. Yes, you'll grow past it, but it's the best way to get started. So if you're unsure about any of that, I have all my lessons and courses go over the cage stuff. This is pattern 3, like C-A-G-E-D in the acronym. G's the 3rd one, so that's why it's pattern 3. Here's your root. Here's your triad, F major triad, and then all this. All that Hendrixy stuff. And he just walks it up chromatically. F major, F sharp, G. That's all that is there. Back to it. Yeah. Okay, my key takeaways so far, what I want you to pay attention to. Let me preface this. Guitar players, musicians in general, okay? Here's the thing. Your own voice is a combination of, let me say this. When you get to a certain place in your playing, your voice after you've listened to so many players and learned their solos and hopefully put words to why things sound good, it comes down to a matter of taste, of how much you want to sell each change. Meaning, how much do you want to stay about the key, or how much you want to say about the chord changes that pass by, and so on and so forth. So two extremes would be like a voice where you never change key. Like this is an E minor and we're going up and down E minor the whole time. Fine. The other extreme would be like super jazzy stuff where the entire scale changes for each chord. And in the middle, you have what's called chord tone soloing, which is where you keep a key-centered approach, but you might grab a note here or there from the different chords, usually the thirds, because the thirds create function more than any other chord. Now, Colin I have so many lessons about this, about the beginning to chord solo and where chord tone solo and where to start. This is where you start. He is favoring the root of the chords he's going over. So he's keeping a key-centered approach of G major or E minor, right? Those are the scale. The scale isn't changing, okay? But when it goes to the D, the 5 chord, he's shooting for that D. Yes, the third would be F sharp, but he's favoring the D. When it goes to E minor, he's favoring the E, the root. When it goes to that B7, he's favoring the B. Now, as you get more advanced is the wrong word, but as you expand your palette and you really start third hunting as I preach, you'll know that that D sharp is the strongest pull in B7. But shooting for that B, it gives you that, okay, I'm saying something about that chord, but I'm not getting jazzy with it. I'm not taking the ear on something unexpected. I'm giving it exactly what it wants. That's what focusing on root to root to root does when you're soloing. And I implore all of you, if you do one takeaway from this video and this lesson, is that when you're soloing over some changes, don't change the scale over each of the chords. You say to yourself, okay, this is in G major or E minor. I have all my notes. But focus on hitting the root, resolving your lines to the root of the chord that you land on, okay? Not just to the key center every time. And that will begin your journey of chord tone soloing. And I can't think of a better example that I've found recently than Colin James doing this. I just want to show something else to you right now. Again, you know I'm obsessed with intervals. This is so simple and it's so deceivingly simple, okay? The chord goes 1, 5, 4, right? G, D, C. This is the power of simple melodies. We're in G. Starts out with the bend. What is that? 1, 2, 3. That is the major third of G. B is the third of G major. Chord tone. Then it goes, lands on the 2 chord, the 2 note, right? The 9. What is that? That's A. That is the 5th of D major, our 5 chord, and then go, and then G, which is our tonic, but it is also the 5th of our 4 chord. So knowing your simple 1, 2, 3s will give you, you can hit so much with just knowing basic melodies, but you have to stop and you have to put words to it so that you can use it in different keys at different times. So basic, so simple, but that's what hooks people. I'm going to that's a hot little run here. Check this out. I mean, seriously, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. So what was that? What was that? There's your little nod to Stevie Ray Vaughan. Remember, when you're above the root like this, generally speaking, you're thinking major. This is your B.B. King zone. And so he's doing major third, second, root. But then he immediately shifts down and plays the root with his third finger. So now we're going to be behind. And now we're thinking Albert King. Minor third, root, flat 7. Right? Right, that. Whatever his run is. We all have runs that we do, okay? Point is he's major, singing major lines. Little minor Stevie Ray Vaughan in there. Love it. Absolutely love it. And then right back to the singing major lines. Yes. Love that walk up every time. I can dig it. So again, this was for David Smith and his brother Jason. Jason, David, thank you for being members on GuitarGate. And Jason, I hope that you feel better. I'm sorry you've fallen on such rough times, but I'm so happy that you're a member of this community and that you and your brother can bond over playing guitar the way that you have. I absolutely love that you're here. So the thing about this one, right? This is like, there's so much to learn in here as an aspiring guitar player. Aside from the tone and the actual dynamics and groove of the band, which I should have spent time talking about but didn't, because I wanted to point out specific playing things that you could take home and work on. The thing that stands out to me is that he is a chord tone soloer, okay? He's acknowledging the chords that are changing, but he's focusing on the roots of each one of those. So keeping a key-centered approach with a, what do you want to call it? He's not changing scales. There aren't really many outside notes. That one little flurry in minor, but for the most part, he is staying right on G major the whole time. E minor is its relative minor. That little nod to SRV was a little G minor little thing. You had those little Hendrix things, you know, that F triad, F sharp, G to bring it back up. That's a nice little fluff to throw to make you push through the next part. But he's thinking about the roots, to resolving on the roots of the chords that change. So, again, you know, you got, right? Now, even though you got that piece, and that's what I want you to do. That's your homework. What I want you to do is pick a simple progression. You can use this one: G, E minor, C and D. So 1, 6, 4, 5, if you will. And you can put them in any arrangement that you want. But think about the G major scale or E minor scale, you know, respectively. right? Let it sing, but then when you get to the different chords, when you get to the D, focus on the D, right? When you get to the E, focus on the E. You get to the G, focus on the G. You get to the C. Right? Think about roots. Think about roots. And then as you expand, think about thirds, then think about fifths. That's really the nuts and bolts of becoming a good chord tone soloer. You want to be vocal, but you want to follow the chords and just say a little something about each one. You're not abandoning and doing a different scale. You still want to be vocal. You want to be memorable to everybody in the audience. That's it. So again, David and Jason, thanks for being members on GuitarGate. Jason, I wish you all the best, you and your whole family. Know that I love you all out there. And again, if you dig the vibe here, please hit subscribe if you'd like to learn more. GuitarGate is the first link in the description. I'd love to be your online teacher and have you be a part of this community. And as a thank you for doing so, you do get to pick what comes next on YouTube. And just keep this thing out of the case. Keep it on your couch, on your bed, on the wall, and when you walk by it, pick it up. Spend 5 minutes, then put it down. Just keep the thing in your hands, and you'll keep getting better. I'm doing it. Do it with me. Cheers. I don't even know why I did that. Never do that.